And here we go.
Hey guys, welcome to Lost Episode 3 of CMD Tower's Brews and Builds. I'm MrComboNumber5, and my fellow host has met a bit that both of us will have shared animosity by the end, BigTuck.
Yes, Mr. Combo-san, as our friends to the Far East would say, Oi yago mazu.
What is it?
Oh hey
What's that
go
translate to?
samu, which is hello, good morning. I thought it was gonna be something konnichiwa and then a space, but it turns out Japanese literature and alcohol has won again.
Welcome, collective, to another great episode of Brews and Builds. And this episode could not have been done except by our amazing patrons. Whether you're part of the collective, Squeeze Choir, BigTucks, Mr. Combo, Storm Count, it doesn't matter. We love you guys and thank you for the support. Well, guys, if you haven't heard, we do have an amazing Patron community. You should definitely head over and join cmdtower.com/Patreon. We do have many different tiers. For $15 a month, you can actually join the BigTucks Brew Buddies, get a ton of soft value, but also get CMD Tower swag. And then whenever we come out with new drops, if it aligns up with your tier, you'll also get it for free, just automatically being a part of it. But even just $1 a month helps the community. So go out there and join. But a big thing is if you're an existing patron, go do the referral program. Any of your friends, frenemy, or collective that you want to get to join, have them message us on Patreon, and we'll send you something free for just being great. Now, we do have great swag, merch, foily things. So head over to cmdtower.com/merch. You can pick up our amazing Jund holiday sweater. You can look at our amazing foil playmat from Brews and Builds. That's this really cool astrology, almost kind of has like a Theros feel to it. Definitely there are redacted bits that we can't talk about, but let's just say they have to do with hundreds and hundreds of sleeves. So please help the children.
I am begging you.
Now, we have started a new partnership. As you've probably heard, and even this episode's based around it, I've done playtest cards. Sometimes I do custom ones that are Game of Thrones themed. Sometimes I've done ones like today, which we'll get into in a bit. And where do I go to get these great cards? Or even if, like Tuck was just complaining about, if you own a single Ragavan copy, you can head over to abyssproxyshop.com and use the code CMD Tower to get 10% off your order. Plus, it's stackable. So I know if you spend over $30 on the website, you'll get 20% off your order. And then on top of that, using that code does help get a little bit of revenue into CMD Tower. So if you're going to go buy playtest cards or proxies, as a lot of people call them, go to abyssproxyshop.com and use CMD Tower to help us out.
I can confirm that they have not one, but two options for the Ragavan proxy. One of them with Abu from Aladdin. And then another one, I believe, is some sort of anime, but I can't watch that stuff because it gives me nightmares.
And of course, these YouTube videos are brought to you by T-Codes. He's our amazing video engineer at _T-Codes on Twitter. Be sure to hit up Tyler. Let him know what you like about the videos, what you want to see improved, because we really can't do anything without your guys' feedback. So let us know what you want to see, especially now that all of our content's going on YouTube and you're seeing our very questionable faces.
Ugh.
Ooh. So Brews and Builds is our deck tech series. Since we conquered the path to 32, the 12 themes of EDH decks, we have moved on to a classic brew of day one Brews and Builds with a traditional episode. And we describe brewing of decks similar to how beer is brewed. So we broke it down into 4 different categories. And then to wrap up the episode, we have a bottle capping. These are going to be BigTucks and I's cuts and adds to the deck that are going to be under $5, under $50, and a no budget recommendation. We have 2 restrictions this time. Can't be mana-only lands, and the cards, you guys know where this is going, had to have a alternate art Japanese printing to go along with it. Think War of the Spark, Mystical Archives, or be from an Akamigawa set. Betrayers Akamigawa, Neon Dynasty, didn't really matter, just had to come from there. So without further ado, let's get brewing. Today, we are on Lost Episode 3. It seems to be a trend, Tuck, when we do these Lost episodes. My decks are always proxy decks. The first ones was my Game of Thrones deck. Now we have Najeela campaigning across Japan. All right, well, now we're going to head over to the bottle capping. And as a reminder, these are going to be BigTucks and I's cuts and adds to the deck. They're going to be under $5, under $50, and then a no budget recommendation. We have multiple restrictions, though, this time. We can't do mana-only lands. The card had to have had an alternate or Japanese version. Think War of the Spark. Think Mystical Archives. And then finally, it had to have, if it couldn't meet that, then it could have been from a Kamigawa block at some time. Neon Dynasty, Betrayers of Kamigawa, etc.
So I was very upset when you said that, and I was very frustrated by it. But what I did for you, Mr. Combo, I thought
What'd you do?
I thought back, and I was like, this is so restrictive. This is such a nightmare. But then I thought, like, literally, 2 weeks ago, you bent over backwards to find me budget cards that were like 7 cents, right? Which is not your forte. And I was like, you know what?
Very true.
If Mr. Combo did that for me, I can try my damnedest to do this for him. There's one that is kind of a bending of the rules a little bit, but it's still Japanese focused.
Well, and I think for the restriction piece of this, you and I, for this episode, were put at an unfair advantage, considering I built the deck without that restriction. So this was just more of a, I don't...
Let's have some
fun
what
I started to see. Yeah, because I just started to see, like, well, I feel like it's just going to be too easy to go grab other Warriors and Najeela stuff that I didn't put in here. So if I have this weird restriction, kind of like what I did on Brutaclad with the all permanents, it makes it harder to just go for the easy way out.
Yes, like this cuts off a lot of the low-hanging fruit, if you were, and that sort of thing.
Yeah, so for my under $5, I'm going to cut Chatterfang. So Chatterfang Squirrel General, 2 colorless green, legendary creature, Squirrel Warrior, 3/3. Forest Walk, if one or more tokens would be created under your control, you get those tokens plus that many 1/1 green squirrel creature tokens are created instead. And then black, sacrifice X squirrels, target creature gets +X, -X until end of turn. Really, the only reason I'm going to cut this from the deck is the squirrels don't come in. It's not like it's a tapped and attacking type thing.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm not going to get anything from that. I don't believe this is going to double up with Wolfgar, because like Wolfgar does Najeela, and I don't think that's going to then tie into Chatterfang. So I'm not going to get extra from like the Wolfgar effect. And at least in the times that I've played the deck, I've never seen Chatterfang, and I always have enough Warriors. So at this point, I don't think I need more Warriors. I just need to be able to do a little bit more with them.
I feel like someone would describe this card, Chatterfang, as like a win more.
Yes.
Right?
But if Wolfgar's good, what if I had 2 of them? With a card straight out of Neon Dynasty.
The new one? Yes.
Ishin, 2 Heavens as 1. So for Mardu, that's red, white, and black. You can get it pre-order for $3.90 right now, so that's why it counts. It's a legendary creature, human samurai, so it's still not a warrior, but it's kind of on theme with the samurai. If a creature attacking causes a triggered ability of a permanent you control to trigger, the ability triggers an additional time. I think this is just better than Chatterfang, because now I'm getting warriors tapped and attacking opposed to just tokens sitting there.
And you're getting on this ahead of time, because I'm betting dimes to donuts. We're going to be seeing a lot of this card in the Commander community in the 99 and also as a general moving forward.
Completely agree.
Yeah.
All right, Tuck, what are you going to cut for your under $5 pick?
So this was pretty tricky. This was kind of a tough thing to cut and add and that sort of thing. I'm going to cut a land. Short story longer. I think that there's too many. You have 37 actually, as it turns out, and I think you could go to 36, right? So I'll leave that to you what to cut. I don't know how you're going to cut it or what you're going to figure out and how to do it. But what I was thinking was this. You could so at some point this deck could scream out of the gates and just womp people, right? But sometimes you might need something a little bit more into the late game. You might need to play around other aggressive decks. So there's a Planeswalker that got printed on War of the Sparks, Vivian, Champion of the Wilds. So 2 colorless for a green. For legendary planeswalker Vivian, it comes with 4 loyalty. You may cast creature spells with a flash. +1 until your next turn. Up to 1 target creature gains vigilance and reach. And then -2, look at the top 3 cards of your library. Exile 1 face down and put the rest on the bottom of your library in any order. For as long as that card remains exiled, you may look at that card and you may cast it as though it's a creature card, right? So I like Vivian because it lets you play around counter spells. It lets you play at other people's turns to get out Najeela, to get out your other whammers. It gives you something to give like Brutal Horde Chief Reach or some of these other bigger creatures to block something if there's a bunch of drakes or dragons. And then also can effectively draw you another spell because you are running so many creatures.
Yeah, I'm good with it. I mean, I do have in the deck 22 creatures, so I mean, I guess we'll have to see how much that's going to be relevant.
Sure, yeah.
I do like the vigilance reach piece because that could be good early game. I guess the biggest thing I'm just going to struggle with is since I only have 22 creatures in the deck, more likely than not that -2, I'm going to be exiling stuff that
Sure, yeah.
I don't want to exile. So I'm not really getting value. So that's the only thing I'm kind of caught up on. But I like that you did the loop because there is a Japanese alternate art version of this card, and it actually looks pretty cool.
It looks very cool. So I tried.
All right, under 50. I am going to cut Grand Warlord Radha.
Okay, yeah.
Grand Warlord is going to be 2 colorless Gruul, red and green, legendary creature, elf warrior, haste. Whenever one or more creatures you control attack, add that much mana in any combination of red or green. And until end of turn, I don't lose that mana as steps and phases in, and it's a 3/4. Mainly the reason I'm cutting it is because it's only 40% of the colors I need to actually do my. Now, if I was getting one of each or even any combination, like, yes, then I would obviously be playing this. But just the red and the green, I don't have any mana sinks.
Mm-hmm.
The only mana sink I have is really Najeela.
Yeah.
So I've seen more often than not, Grand Warlord Radha almost just operates like a Grim Monolith for me. Oh, I got like infinite colorless stuff that I could kind of use to help, shift things around.
Yeah. No, I think that's fair.
So the card I want to add, though, is it's a bulk card. It's not, the sexiest, but I think it's fine. So we are talking another card from Neon Dynasty,
Oh,
Asari Captain. 3 colorless Boros, that is red and white, human samurai, haste. Whenever a samurai or warrior you control attacks alone, it gets +1/+0 until end of turn for each samurai or warrior you control. So the thing I like about this is there will be times where there's a crawl space out, or some sort of limited ghostly prison type of effect where I'm not going to be able to get my swarm. I'm only going to be able to swing in with 1 or 2. So having a Sorry Captain in here is kind of like, I would still consider this a spice card for the deck, but only because it's literally there to help me win the game when I can only swing with 1.
Yeah. Yeah, that makes sense. And also pumps up this. It's a fringe case, but there's probably times where someone will have that up and you're like, okay, if I can just I've already dealt them 6 points of damage with Najeela incidentally, right? Just through attack triggers. They didn't have blockers. If I can just pump her up enough to be able to knock them out in 2 swings with just her, then that kind of makes sense too, right? This exalted thing for just because if the deck didn't care so much about Najeela, then I would say that does not matter. But this deck does not operate without her, right?
Yep, correct. Yeah. All right, Tuck, what's your under 50 cut and add?
So this is kind of a 50, it's like a coin flip, but there's two things in your hops that I think one of which can go. So it's kind of up to you. I'm either going to cut Counterspell or Disenchant, one of the two there, right? So if you feel like the spot removal is more important, then so be it. But that's up to you. So anyways, Counterspell, for those who don't know, go throw yourself off a cliff because come on, 2 blue, counter target spell. Disenchant, what?
I don't have Disenchant in the deck.
It's in Grains for some reason.
What?
Yes. Colorless and white, destroy target artifact or enchantments. So they're both fine, but I don't think either of them help win the game. I don't think you're going to be playing a lot with a lot of leftover mana to be responsive. I think you have better removal in the deck. So I dug deep, and even though it's not a traditional Japanese printing, Mothra is a staple in Japanese culture. So Mothra, Supersonic Queen, aka Luminous Broodmoth, is 2 colorless white for a 3/4 flying creature insect. Whenever a creature you control without flying dies, return it to the battlefield under its owner's control with a flying counter on it. I think there are some creatures in here that really matter, the brutal horde chiefs of the world, and so on and so forth. And just being able to have something that's going to be recurring them out. This also is kind of like a buy one get one free with Najeela. If she gets destroyed, you send her to the graveyard. She comes back with flying, which is even better. This is kind of like a worse gift of the estates, but I just think it's got a lot of unique synergies and ways to get your deck through multiple board wipes, multiple spot removals, multiple lightning bolts of the world.
Gotcha. Well, here's the thing, though. You still technically did it right because these kind of were the Japanese alternate printings, like for Godzilla. And I mean, they even did one that was the Mothra's Great Cocoon that had a special Japanese thing. So I'll let it slide. I will say, though, the card's great for the deck. Makes total sense considering... like, I almost would rather Najeela die so that it comes back with a flying counter and becomes even better.
Yes, right. Go ahead, kill it. I don't care. Who could possibly care?
For sure. Well, no budget. Sadly, I'm not breaking the bank.
Yeah, me neither.
So I'm going to be cutting Herald of Dramoca. So this officially means I've cut all these spice cards. Which makes a lot of sense. So Herald of Dramoca is a colorless white. It has vigilance. Other warrior creatures you control have vigilance. It's a creature. It's just
we kind of talked about it,
you know, yeah. If you guys go back and listen to the beginning of the spice section, the vigilance thing doesn't matter to me because Najeela puts them in tapped and attacking. It's kind of similar to like Kali of the Vast. She puts in stuff tapped and attacking. If stuff came in just attacking and it wasn't tapped, oh yeah, give me vigilance all day long, because then there'll be some other values. But instead of just doing this pseudo vigilance thing for warriors, because I do have some non-warriors.
Let me stop you right there. I swear to God, if this is another Neon Dynasty card, I'm going to be very upset.
It is not. It is from War of the Spark. Nice. And we are talking Ajani the Great-Hearted. 2 colorless Silencia, legendary planeswalker Ajani, 5 loyalty, static. Creatures you control have vigilance. None of this warriors specific, just creatures.
Yeah.
So I'm okay paying basically green and a colorless to get a universal effect. But now this card's way better. +1, gain 3 life. That actually has been relevant. The games that I have lost, it's just like I just get way too low.
You just get slammed with 1/1s or whatever, right?
Yep. But I like this. -2. Put a +1/+1 counter on each creature you control and a loyalty counter on each other planeswalker you control. Planeswalker part's not that important, but 4 mana, vigilance, everything gets a minimum if it doesn't die. +2/+2, because it'll be able to do it the -2 twice.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
Yeah, why not, right? And I think this is something I think you have Cathar's Crusade in here already under your yeast, right? And I think that's a card that people see and they like their heart rate just skyrockets, right?
Blow it up.
Yeah, immediately like, okay, he's playing this, we're fucked, right? Like we're dead.
Yep.
There's nothing anyone can do about it. So that immediately paints a target on your head. Whereas someone plays this, you're like, wait, that bulk planeswalker that you have 90 stained glasses of that you got by accident? Okay. Yeah. But then like, again, you're like, okay, gain 3 life. Who cares? Vigilance, who cares? But over time, you're like, okay, I'm just going to add 1/1 counter to everything, right? And when it matters, like there's a turn where that is going to matter big time. And that's where this unassuming thing is going to fly under the radar and be able to bash someone that they're completely unawares, right?
Yeah, 1000%. And in case you guys were curious about a rules question, if Ajani is somehow a creature as his last ability resolves, he gets a +1/+1 counter. Don't know why that's relevant, but that's in the rules.
Thanks, Oracle Text. You guys are doing the Lord's work out there.
Well, Tuck, why don't you wrap up the bottle capping and give us your final cut and add?
This was tough. Like you said, it was a very stringent thing, so I tried very hard. I don't think you're going to like this, but I think it's cute. So I'm actually going to cut Avacyn's Pilgrim. For those who are unawares, it's 1 green for a creature human monk. That's a 1/1. You can tap it and add a white. You already have all the best in the business of multicolor things. I feel that just something that this is a pet card to yours. I know you like it a lot. Just something that taps for a white and a 5-color deck to me, comparative to Birds, Ornithopter Paradises, Ignoble Hierarch, these other things that you have, I just don't think has enough
So, are you also
utility.
saying to cut Elves of Deep Shadow?
You could if you want. Like, I think those are two that are kind of on the list for me. But it's up to you. This was the one that jumped out to me. So originally this was called something samurais. So I was like, okay, let's find some samurais that we can go with here, right? And we're going with the homegirl, Fumiko, the Low Blood. 2 colorless double red for a legendary creature human samurai. That's a 3/2 that costs you 19 cents. So there's a block of text that says something Bushido. Does not matter. She has Bushido X, where X is the number of attacking creature. When it blocks or becomes blocked, it gets +X on turn. Doesn't matter. But creatures your opponents control attack each combat. That's what matters here, right? Let's get those defenses down. Let's get those life totals down. Even if it is your own, right? It's kind of one of those things. I feel like this deck is like, you're talking about you getting punched. Sure, if you're going to punch me with everything. Put your guard down. All I need is one swing in, right? I need Najeela to get in once and not be blocked. That's all that matters. So why not add a little chaos? Why not add a little low blood? Why not add a samurai to the Najeela deck?
Well, I mean, we've already shown that we have off-themed warriors in the deck.
Sure.
So, that's fine. I like the Bushido X because I could... Tuck. I could probably one-shot someone with Fumiko.
Oh, if you have a million warriors?
Well, because I'm going to have a bunch of warriors.
Yeah.
But it only gets Bushido when it becomes blocked. Well, what does Brutal Horde Chief do? So I could force my opponent to block Fumiko with at least one creature, and then Najeela with her Wooburg gives it trample.
Wait a minute. Hold on. This could become a board wipe with Brutal Horde Chief as well, right? Because you can just assign any amount of people to block her, and for each one she gets bigger?
No, because it's just whenever it becomes blocked. So she's only going to get Bushido once, but you could just add it up. Okay, I have 15 attacking creatures. She's going to get +15/+15. Let me assign the right amount of stuff over here.
Right,
so then she kills everything.
Yeah.
I mean, granted, the thing I was talking about is a 10 mana combo. It's quite a bit. But, I mean, Fumiko's not a terrible idea, and it is just creatures your opponents control attack each combat if able. Right. So if someone gets a little out of control, it's like, hey, I'm gonna keep back my defenses. You guys can keep coming at me, but I need to take the back seat for a second.
Totally. So, like I said, that's the best I could come up with the restrictions that we had, which I liked.
Well, guys, thanks for making it until the end of the episode.